Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Long Shot Podcast, brought to you by 342 Productions. I am your host, Duncan Robinson, and I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Davis Reid. Davis Patrick, how are we doing?
Great. We are back. I'm doing
We
well.
are
How are
back.
you? You're in a new location. I see a new backdrop.
I am in a new location. I was on the West Coast. I was able to dip out and actually connect with some of my family on a little vacation. So we were down here in the Cape Cod area. My mom always tries to come down here for a week, so I kind of caught her on the tail end of her week. I was able to do 48 hours or so down here, get some sun, and yeah, it's nice. A little change of pace in the middle of the summer. It was going pretty hard the last 5.5 weeks or so. I'm going to duck off here for the end of this week and then be right back to it on Monday come next week.
Well, you're making another trip next week.
That's right.
You're heading to the Midwest.
We are on the precipice of a very special day, special week, really. We're headed to the Midwest here soon, or I'm headed to the Midwest. You're already in the Midwest, the great state of Kansas. I'm really looking forward to heading out that way for all things Davis and Casey wedding related. We got a little bit, I don't even know if you can call it a bachelor party. It's like kind of like a pseudo fake bachelor party. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be fun. We're going to play some golf, get some workouts in, of course. Always got to be, keep it at arm's length, if you will. Shout out to Scal for that one. And maybe the consistent listeners who know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it just means you're not that big of a fan of the long shot, which is okay. But
Right.
I likely think a little bit less of you as a human being. But other than that, you're probably in pretty good standing. But yeah, we're headed to the Midwest here soon. Really excited for that. Let's actually unpack that a little bit more next week's front of show. Because then we'll really be right on the cusp of the big day. It's actually funny. These last couple of days have been a little bit crazy for me. There were all these rumors about me potentially joining the Olympics. And as they were kind of floating around, one of the things that I kept on seeing through the various, reports and forms of social media were all these people saying, no, like Duncan can't go to the Olympics. He's going to miss Davis's wedding. So it's really good to know that people are invested in your holy matrimony, which is truly special.
I am eternally grateful to those people that think that my wedding is more important than the Olympics. We actually had a phone call. You called me when these rumors were flying around, and you were like, Dave, what if I missed your wedding? Like, I would feel so bad. Oh my gosh. And I told you, Duncan, I would miss my own wedding to go to the Olympics. Are you kidding me? Like, this shouldn't even be a discussion point. What are we talking about here?
You're a great friend. I will say I put you on a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, as I did with basically all my close friends and family. The reports were somewhat true when everything that happened last week with Brad, and I actually had nothing to do with Kevin Love's spot. That was going to be filled by a big, but when Brad was kind of removed from the Olympics and it was clear that he was not going to go, they were obviously looking for a filler. I was a part of the player pool already, as were some other guys, and they had communicated to me that they were going to reach out to other guys first. Now, the other guys that they were going to reach out to were guys that already had the option to be on Team USA. So I felt pretty confident that they weren't going to then like turn around and say yes after already saying no. So I started to think like, all right, well, maybe there's a chance that this happens. And it basically got to the point where like it started to pick up some momentum, and it looked like it was going to happen. And it kind of got communicated as this: we'll know by the end of the day. So for me, it was clear that I needed to have a decision ready, because it was a decision. Like, obviously it's incredible to go and play for your country, and it would have been an opportunity that I would have jumped at. But at the same time, I was going to be missing your wedding, and it's also, right on the cusp of free agency and some other things. So it was a decision I at least needed to think about. So I called a bunch of people in my kind of close circle, my family, my friends, and was just kind of like weighing some opinions of what people thought. And it quickly became clear, like, all right, if I have the option to, then I'm going to do it. Now, I realized that's the hardest part was missing your wedding, I will say.
Stop.
But anyways, I realized that having those conversations with those people created all this momentum within that group, and that all of a sudden everybody was reaching out to me. Let me know when you know. Like, I want to know when you know. Like, this is so big. Like, oh my gosh, like you might be an Olympian, blah, blah, all this stuff. Now, I go on to find out that I don't get it. Keldon Johnson got the nod. Which, Keldon played great in the final exhibition, and I'm sure he'll do great in Tokyo as well. So there was a huge letdown from that. I thought I was maybe going to be an Olympian. Now everyone's like, oh no, so I created all this buzz for nothing. I tell you, we have this big conversation around missing your wedding, all for nothing. But I always
hold on. Let me push back on that. You weren't creating buzz for nothing. Like, the fact that you were this close to potentially being an Olympian was incredibly exciting. I wouldn't say you were creating buzz for nothing. Like, this is a very exciting. I was honored to be in this little information circle and know that you might be going to the Olympics.
I mean, it was exciting in theory, right? Like, nothing ever materialized. But anyways, it was definitely a letdown to the point of, like, then I had to have that conversation with every one of those individuals of, they went a different direction. It's not happening. But at the same time, in my mind, it was like, all right, this is a win-win. Like, now I get to go to one of my best friend's wedding, be in the wedding, get to watch your special day, be a part of it. I get to really lock in for this, the end of this month leading into free agency, work on my body, work on my game, and all those sorts of things. So I was good. I was at peace with it. Then, of course, the Zach LaVine stuff pops up, and it's like we're just hopping right back on the roller coaster. This time around, the reports were less, so it wasn't as much of a craze. And I also, at that point, I was a seasoned vet at dealing with this type of stuff.
You were jaded.
So I kept it really tight. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold on to this. We're just gonna see what happens. It was basically contingent on whether or not Zach could go. And I was kind of like in the mix of, if he couldn't, then maybe I would, and all this stuff. And I made this strategic decision basically not to tell anybody. I'm like, this time around, I'm only telling people when I have that boarding pass to Tokyo printed. I'm just not going to go through this whole song and dance again. So anyways, once again, that all kind of fell through, and Zach is going to be competing in the Olympic Games, which is awesome. I don't think I'm breaking any news by that, but maybe I might be.
No, you're not. No, I don't think you are.
Would be pretty fitting that the day we have Shams on our podcast, I'm the one breaking news. But anyways, that was just the last 4 or 5 days have been a little bit of a emotional roller coaster, if you will, just with all this sort of stuff going on.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, I'm setting my sights on 2024. I think we're adding you to the roster in 2024.
We'll see. Where are the 2024 games? I want to say London or Paris.
I guess I could be our research guy. Give me a second. I'm on it.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it would have been an incredible opportunity, but you know what else is an incredible opportunity? To stand next to one of your best friends on his big day. And I'm excited to just step fully into that one.
Yeah. Well, while I'm honored that you think that and that you're going to be there, again, the fact that my wedding, I told you this, if you would have missed the Olympics for my wedding, you would be putting a guilt on me that I would carry for the rest of my life. So the fact that you were even weighing it as a reason to not go is just absurd.
Yeah. Well, whatever. A bridge that we did not need to cross. Anyways, let's keep it rolling here. Obviously, you need to show some love to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning the NBA championship. I don't want to say I told you so, but I think multiple times I told you so.
Yeah, call your shot.
I mean, no, actually, I already called my shot. I'm acknowledging that I called my shot now is what's happening. But I mean, the impressive performance by them, really across the board. Giannis, sheer dominance. Drew Holiday wasn't exceptional from the floor, but near triple-double. Chris Middleton was just really good all series. Got to give some love to hometown native Pat Connaughton. Incredible performance from him as well off the bench. Had some big-time plays in Game 6, but also Game 5. And, just had some big games throughout the series. Future Long Shot podcast guest, by the way, so be on the lookout for that.
I like that. Yeah, look, I mean, there are certain athletes that are able to just rise to the occasion. Like it takes me to you golfing in Vail, like big putts, you're just knocking them in. Like some guys just have that gear that they can go to, and Giannis certainly was that this series. Like it just felt like he recognized the moment and just rose to the occasion. If you look back on the playoffs, he had his moment in the huddle where he kicked the chair, was firing up his teammates. When Trey did the shimmy on him in the Eastern Conference Finals, he was getting into his teammates like we're not tolerating that. He just had this killer mentality, and then to get a 50-piece McNugget in Game 6 to close it out. I mean, it was remarkable.
Yeah, that stuff's funny because like I feel like people give him a hard time of like, oh, he's not a winner, he's not a killer, and all that stuff is viewed in a different light until you win. And then once you win, it gets the credit and acknowledgement it deserves. I mean, thus is sports though. Like nobody really gets their moment until they're able to like be on that mountaintop, and then everything, their entire body of work can be acknowledged. But his resume I think he's 27 years old, is incredibly impressive. 2-time MVP, Finals MVP, NBA champion, perennial All-Star. I don't know what it is now, probably 6 or 7 years. But he's already, put together a really, really impressive resume.
Yeah, he sort of ascended himself into a upper echelon of all-time people at this point. I want to quickly shout out Milwaukee fans. 50-year drought over. As a Kansas City native, I know what that feels like with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl last year. There's just straight jubilation. It's unbelievable. 65,000 deep in the Deer District yesterday.
That was impressive. That was fun to see.
Just people losing their minds. There's something so beautiful about sports in that regard, like the ability to just bring people together, and they're all just having the time of their lives out there. It's special.
All right, well, now that we've given Milwaukee their flowers, let's transition to Reddit question of the week. Davis, what do you got?
Yeah, sorry. Well, enough of the Milwaukee love. I apologize. Although the Heat should take a little credit. You guys run through them last year.
We're not here for moral victory, so let's just keep it pushing.
And made them make some adjustments. I just think, you guys lose that series last year. They probably don't make the moves that they did in the offseason. Let's keep it pushing,
Dave. What do you say?
So my last shout out is a shout out to the Miami Heat. All right. Sorry. Reddit question of the week. I'm actually dipping back into the mailbag from a couple weeks ago. This question came from Danny Kano, and they asked, Duncan, do you get nervous? Which I thought was a great question.
There have been points in my career that I've been nervous. I think of like my Michigan debut. And it's not like nervous, like, oh, I'm so scared. It's more like anxious, excited, mixed with nerves. It's like that feeling that like you feel alive. Definitely my NBA debut, first time playing in the playoffs. It's like that positive emotion where it's just like you just want to go out there and play. Now, between all of those, there has been a similar experience of like once the ball goes up and once you step in between the lines, all that stuff just kind of starts to fade away and you're just playing basketball. That's what I love is in that like you have all this anticipation and excitement for a particular game and the ball goes up and it's just basketball.
Speaking of our mailbag, one of the questions I remember was best advice we've received. And I shouted out my mother for what are you going to remember in 40 years? Yes. Another piece of her advice that she would tell me before big games, like in high school, before big games. And if I told her I was nervous, she would say, if you're not nervous, you're not human. You got to embrace it. Because like you said, there's a positive spin to it. Like it fires you up a little bit. So I think that's beautiful.
Jenny Reid from the bleachers with just some big time philosophical takes. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And actually it's one that I get a lot. I think that part of it being like and I don't want to say like your average person because that sounds like condescending, but like to maybe somebody who's not an athlete that's used to performing in front of a lot of people, this idea of being in front of 20,000 people and like trying to perform at a high level is kind of a nerve-wracking thought. But like anything, you just start to develop a rhythm and feel for it. This summer, Bespoke Post is here to take your adventures to the next level with a new lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections. Bespoke Post partners with small businesses and emerging brands to bring you the most unique goods every month. I've already gotten the Weekender box, and let me tell you, it is fantastic. I've been kind of bouncing around a little bit this summer, and it has been incredibly convenient and stylish.
Yeah, I'm more of a concentrate box myself. Dunk came with a coffee press, some flavor for the coffee. It's hit me. I've become a coffee guy. That's been my kind of post-pandemic 2021 change. So they've got me covered. From travel and outdoor gear to breezy summer styles and grooming goods, Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up. You can skip a month, cancel anytime. Each box costs only $45, but has $70 worth of gear inside, Dunk. You're basically doubling your money.
That sounds like a deal right there. And you can get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter code LONGSHOT at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code LONGSHOT for 20% off your first box.
Hey, Dunk, here's a long shot story for you. In a tiny apartment in Southern California, two college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that broke all the rules. With fair prices, unexpected colors, and clean original designs, Movement grew into one of the fastest growing watch brands, shipping to over 160 countries across the globe. Now Movement has expanded into blue light glasses that protect your eyes from screens, minimalist jewelry, and more style essentials that don't break the bank, all designed out of their California headquarters. On July 20th, Movement is celebrating their 8-year anniversary by running a huge site-wide sale. So you're going to want to check that out, Dunk. Every single thing is 28% off. That's 28% off all their best-selling watches, blue light glasses, jewelry, and more.
All of their watches and glasses are incredibly stylish, very like minimalistic, simple. I'm a huge fan, falls right in line with kind of my style and how I like to rock my accessories. But they have quality modern watches for a fair price. Super durable sunglasses with UV rated polarized lenses and timeless styles. Their premium blue light glasses will not only make you look great, but filter 90% off the most intense blue light rays from your digital screen so you can scroll comfortably. The perfect gifts for family and friends. Movement is going all out for their 8th birthday. This is their biggest sale of the year. Take advantage of these price points before they go. Celebrate 8 years of Movement with 28% off site-wide.
Dunk, I'm actually wearing my Movement watch right now, the one made from ocean plastic, and let me tell you, I am a big fan. Don't miss Movement's biggest sale of the year. Go to mvmt.com/longshot and enjoy your 28% off. That's 28% off site-wide at mvmt.com/longshot. Join the movement.
Here are some ideas for doing your summer smarter. Wear sunscreen, drink lots of water, and reshop your home and auto insurance.
That last one's important, and Policy Genius makes it easy to compare home and auto insurance in one place. They can help you find home and auto coverage similar to what you have now, but at a lower price. Duncan, did you know they've saved customers an average of $1,250 per year over what they were paying for home and auto insurance? Their team will handle the paperwork to set up your new policy or switch over your current one.
That's right. Getting started is easy. First, head to policygenius.com and answer a few questions about yourself and your property. Then, Policy Genius takes it from there. They'll compare rates from America's top insurers, from Progressive to Allstate, to find your lowest quotes. The Policy Genius team can look for ways to save you more, including bundling your home and auto policies. If they find a better rate than what you're paying now, they'll switch you over for free. Their top-notch service has earned Policy Genius thousands of 5-star reviews across Trustpilot and Google.
Head to policygenius.com to get started right now. That's policygenius.com. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
All right, let's transition into our long shot feature. This is a great one. David Brown and Jerome Avery. David is a blind Paralympic sprinter who won gold in Rio in 2016 in the 100-meter dash, and Jerome Avery is his guide. Jerome runs alongside David in his races, and you can read his lips throughout the race encouraging him, saying things like, "Go, David." And there's a viral clip that just has begun circulating the internet of them running hand in hand and Jerome leading David. So if you have the opportunity to check that out. Between our long shot feature last week and this week, we're putting together a pretty dynamic blind cohort of track and field athletes.
Yes, last week we have the blind pole vaulter. Now we've got the blind sprinter. And yeah, just amazing. There's an article that talks about these two, both David and Jerome. And the article has this awesome quote. It says, "This is life. Find people to run beside and encourage and keep them on track. Help them see what they can't see for themselves." So it's a beautiful metaphor. This guy, Jerome, sprinting alongside David. They're the current world record holders. Going back to the Paralympic Games this year. He won gold last year, like you said, so trying to keep his crown. Also, quick shout out, David is from Kansas City, Missouri. Born in Kansas City, Missouri. I think grew up in St. Louis, but KCMO guy. So,
yeah, I mean, you're Kansas City, Kansas, so that doesn't really count.
All the same.
I do love the quote, though. Incredibly poetic and, just some feel-good stuff. Anyways, let's get to our convo with Shams. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. We've had some media members on this podcast before, but he just has such a unique perspective, and he really is at the top of his industry when it comes to breaking news, reporting news, and just kind of being an NBA analyst and power broker within the league.
Yeah, it's almost intimidating talking to him because he just holds so much knowledge.
I know.
I think
and
at
withholds knowledge.
Yeah, right, sure.
Yeah.
But he has to. I mean, that's part of the job. But it's an awesome conversation. I think it's one of the most exciting times of the year for him with free agency and pre-draft and everything coming around the corner. So he's got a lot on his plate, but he gives us like 45 minutes of his time. So it's awesome. I tried to get JT once again this week. He still hasn't replied to my emails. So I just want you to know, Dunk, I'm going to keep sending those. We'll see.
Keep fighting the good fight on that one. We'll break through that wall eventually. But enjoy Shams.